Hey Terp fans, it's Mr. Smiley with Terps Win B1G with another war recap video. Here we have Terps against Lords of CoC, which given the score and watching their attacks, I assume was an ironically chosen name for their clan. I'm sure they're good guys. But let's look at the replays here. So we have another Town Hall 10 3-star. Last recap, got all the glory. This one I got in on the action. This, not the strongest base. I probably could have gotten a 3-star with Mass Golem, but I figured there were a bunch of different ways that I could 3-star this base, given my troop and hero levels, and frankly, I wanted to show off a little bit. So let's, so here we're going to open up the core. This is a pretty bad base that you can get right into the core here with one earthquake. But because it's a ring base, you do have to watch the funneling. So down here on the bottom, I'm going to set the queen and healers. So let's put a big Q there. And the reason why I went with Mass Witch on this one is if you look at the mortars, they're here on the corners. And if you get a ring base like this that's wide open, or that you can open up wide with a couple of jumps or an earthquake, and you can eliminate the mortars. I thought about maybe doing a lightning strike, with an earthquake and 2 lightnings would have taken out 1 mortar. Here I thought the queen walk would probably go around here and take out this mortar here before the witches get through. Ended up, the queen ended up going through the middle, which was not that bad, but not entirely according to plan. And with one of the nice things with witches, as we'll see with another attack later in this recap, is that witches don't really need spells that much, that you can play around with spells and not feel like you're absolutely dependent on spells. So here I do bring a freeze, 2 rages, and a jump. The jump is going to complete the other side of the funnel. Over here on this side, I'm going to have the golem and the Burger King and a couple of wizards coming in here and going through here. The queen, I wanted her to take these out, not necessarily go in there, but also to take those out, and that creates a nice funnel for my DPS to go right into the core. Otherwise, with a base like this, your DPS can just go around here while the infernos and crossbows are taking shots at it, and we don't want that. So a lot of my 3-star attacks are like this, where you have the, as you can see from some of the previous recaps, where you have a queen walk on one side and the Burger King on another side, and then the DPS go out through the middle. And it's really just a matter of identifying on the base the weaknesses to see which form of DPS, whether you're going to have witches like this attack, or whether you're going to have Valkyrie and giants, or whether you're going to have dragons, or whether you're going to have Laloon. I've seen some other ones with hog attacks that go through the middle too. Haven't actually done one of those yet, but plan on trying to do that. So here, drop a golem here. Drop an earthquake here, and then we're gonna in the middle. That opens up the core of the base. This base is completely wide open. Archer Queen set down there. She's going to eliminate one of the 4 mortars just pretty easily. There we have the golem and the Burger King on that side. I probably could have gotten away without the jump, but like I said, I didn't really need that many spells. So I drop a golem, gonna pop a couple of giant bombs that ended up being right there. The witches with all those skeletons under a rage do a great job of standing up the Dragloon, or the dragon, and some archers or whatever it was. That you don't need a poison or 2 poisons if you have a mass witch attack, because the skeletons will do a nice job of just standing them up while the witches and your heroes or whatever take care of it. So there they go, mowing through the base. Second Inferno sometimes is a problem, but here I have so many witches and so many skeletons with the 2 level 3 witches in the clan castle that the Inferno can't keep up with all of them, and all that damage just goes through the middle. Archer Queen ends up going into the core of the base, but that ends up not being fatal. With all, there aren't that many high hit point other troops for the healers to get distracted by, like they might have been with Giants or Valkyrie. The Burger King's really the only one that's going to distract the healers. If you're not aware, healers do favor high hit point and injured targets. So they're not really going to worry about skeletons, because skeletons, once they get injured, they're going to be dead. Witches aren't going to last very long, so once they're injured, they're going to be dead. Uh, you know, wizards might distract it for a moment, but again, the healers aren't going to keep up with damage very well. So once they're injured, they'll go back to the queen. So here at this point, this is my first attack with a level 40 Archer Queen, and it pays off. 4 healers still up, I think. There really isn't going to be too much to jeopardize her. I missed kind of commenting on it, but when I initially dropped her, she was taking a little bit more damage, tanking for that center damage, that DPS drop. That I did have to pop her ability a little bit too early. I could have popped a rage instead, but instead I popped her ability. So if I do say so myself, pretty sexy attack. I'm pretty pleased with it. I did get inspiration for that, I will have to admit, from watching Gnaw Means Mass Witch here on 7. So, I couldn't let Gnaw show me up by having the sexiest attack of the war, so I had to try to do my own thing and one up him. So here we see a Mass Witch with kind of backside hogs. Again, like I said in the in the other video, that having mass witches or any kind of witch heavy attack frees up your spells. So here he's able to take 3 heals. You can heal the witches, that works a little bit, but any kind of high damage is going to tear out the witches. That having all these witches, and he has 9 of his own witches and then 2 level 3 witches in the clan castle. So this is really a mass witch. I like to have at least 6 wizards for funneling and for extra damage, but Gnaw does stuff differently. So he's going to come in here and he's going to drop a golem here that's going to focus all of these, all of this DPS here on this golem, and then I think it's two balloons are just going to float in here and pick off a bunch of stuff here. So you got a lot of value out of that. And then he's gonna open up this core, I think maybe with a jump somewhere over here, and the witches are just gonna flood around this circle of a base. But in order to kind of protect his heroes and his kill squad, because the witches free up a couple of heals that he can drop here, Gnaw's going to send this pack of 12 hogs in here and just kind of chop up the Tesla and the expos and some other stuff in the core. A little bit of a dangerous move since the queen's over here, but with those heals and all those skeletons just kind of flooding through, the hogs are more almost for style points than they are an essential part of the attack. But they do a nice job in just helping the witches get rid of a whole chunk of damage in the middle. So let's watch the attack. Here he is saying his pre-attack prayer, I guess. As you can see, it's a pretty quick attack that he's taking a couple minutes to take a look, trying to decide whether he's good Gnaw or bad Gnaw for this attack. There's a golem there, two loons coming in at those archer towers, picking them off. 3 wizards just is all he needs to set a funnel there. And the queen, taking these high hit point buildings. So there he has, what is it, 4 loons, taking out 3 buildings, 3 defenses there, and also providing a lure. Pops there, bunch of wizards and archers, kind of old school clan castle going over. Tears up the golem, but allows his skeletons to stand up the clan castle so that he can drop a couple of poisons there. Probably didn't need 2 poisons or even 1 poison there, but once you commit to bring the poison, you might as well bring 2 of them in case something happens. And he's not really going to need it for skeletons because he has, 11 witches, of his own that are going to provide a gazillion skeletons of his own. So the hogs are acting as a tank kind of for the skeletons. Heals allow them to see they get rid of 1 expo, up there getting rid of the second expo, and doing work on those Tesla in the middle, which is just kind of a slow roll, summoning skeleton after skeleton, surrounding that clan castle, jumping into the snow. Oh, there, he did drop the Burger King. I missed that. He drops the Burger King on the Archer Queen, so that wasn't as dangerous as I originally thought. I guess, that shows the thought that he was given into it. There, he does have heal at the end. Tried to salvage the Burger King. Didn't quite work, but at that point, maybe it's kind of a pseudo swag drop, or the wizard tower isn't enough to kill the witches with the under heal, so that's pretty good scouting. And at that point, it's just the cannon. So beautiful but wacky kind of attack here. So good job, Nah. We have another nice looking kind of unusual attack here by Psycho Killer on number 3. So this was their toughest Town Hall 9. And so he's going to do a nice job of scouting and seeing, what are the weaknesses of this base. Let's use this. So he's going to come in with a kill squad from the south, and he sees that a jump and some wall breakers will allow him into this chamber right here, which allows him to take out 1, 2, 3 expos. I'm sorry, air defenses plus an expo here that could end. Oh, 2 expos here that can mess up any air attack. Plus the clan castle, plus this Archer Queen right here is going to jump into here as soon as it's attacked. So at that point, most of, for an air attack in this one little quadrant right here, he can get rid of almost everything that's going to stop his attack. So at this point, all he really has left that most people think about is 1 air defense that he's going to send. I forget where he sends it from, but he sends a couple of hounds. 2 hounds, usually the rule of thumb is 1 hound per air defense plus 1. So if you're going to have 1 air defense up, 2 hounds is going to be plenty. Leaving him, he takes 2 of his own. 2 level 2 hounds is going to be more than enough. He could have brought the level 3, but then you run the risk that it doesn't pop. So he's going to have 1 of his own golem, 1 of his, 1 in the clan castle. For this small core area, 3 Valkyrie is going to be enough to go right after that queen, go right through the middle. A whole lot of loons for cleanup, and the one reason why I really wanted to feature this attack, that I think he did a really awesome job of just seeing, look, I can take out this air defense here. What else is going to stop my loons? And you do have 1, 2, 3 wizard towers here. He's going to take out this wizard tower here, and wizard towers are kind of those silent killers for loons. That loons are slow moving if they're not under a haste or rage. That the wizard towers just, they can beat them up as they move slowly across the base. So Psycho does a awesome job in recognizing that and deciding that instead of bringing a whole bunch of rages and haste, haste might have worked too, but he has those 2 heals there, which he uses for the loon pack to allow them to travel around the base, with no problem from the wizard towers. So that was a really, really good job of base identification here. And as you can see, there we go, breaking through, setting a nice funnel. Valkyrie can kind of run around if you don't funnel them. Once you get the trick of funneling for Valkyrie, setting wizards on the outside of the golems, it becomes not that big of a deal. Once you learn it, it can kind of transform a mediocre attacker into an awesome attacker. And that's why my kind of harping on Valkyrie as being the chosen troop of the Illuminati is a little bit shtick, but it's also kind of true. We've seen it with, some attackers that have struggled in the past. Terpso 1 and Tugs come to mind, that once they really kind of decided that they were going to go with Valkyrie. I think Psycho also, once he adopted Valkyrie pretty early on, the 3 stars just started rolling in. That, our clan motto is pretty much heroes and walls, and I think we might want to just change that to heroes, walls, and Valkyrie. It's a shame that they're not more useful for Town Hall 10 war attacks, but at Town Hall 9, once you get those max Valkyrie, I mean, even though he only used 3 on this attack, they do a great job of just running through and getting the queen. There you go with the first heal on that Loon pack. More than enough healing to compensate for the wizard towers. They're just going to float over and drop death from above. He wasn't able to take out that far crossbow with the kill squad, but you know he's got 15 loons here that just do a great job. And at this point, he's got a couple of defenses there on the far end and a couple of pups for cleanup. Uh, yeah, kind of drops another cleanup troop a little bit too easy, but he's got plenty of time here for for those loons to just float around the base. Here, we might as well just speed it up. It's a lengthy cleanup, but there's really nothing here that is going to stop it. His loons, by the time that they're going across the base and might be collecting a couple bombs, had already destroyed all of the defenses. So super attack by Psycho, really innovative and great base ID with the heals. So good job, another Terp win. Until next time, let's go Terps.